Hello, I'm Joseph Verbies and today I will present my view on whether critical thinking is a vital skill for human resource management today. Firstly, I would like to introduce you what's critical thinking. Critical thinking is a skill that is seen as one of the key interpersonal competencies. Anybody, despite their age, race, social situation, and education, can think critically. People do not born as critical thinkers, they become them. Critical thinking is thinking about the thinking. From the times of Socrates, it is said that man who thinks critically can be manipulated. He thinks with his own head, resists influence, makes decisions by weighting all the information, selecting it, searching for arguments for and against, and forming his own personal opinion. The mass of critically thinking people is an essential thing to democratic society. In order to answer the question whether critical thinking is a vital skill for human resource manager, there is a need to look at the role of human resource manager and his responsibilities. First responsibility is employment and recruiting. HR manager works with hiring manager to develop ideal candidate criteria, collaborate with private headhunters and attract qualified employees, and match them to jobs. Second responsibility is labor and employees relations. HR manager is like a bond between employee and management. He negotiates with unions over contracts, carries out employee health and safety programs. Then comes training and development. HR manager provides ongoing education for staff, determines what training is necessary, and makes the presentations. Next responsibility is job analysis. HR manager develops job descriptions, titles, and training methods. He makes application material as well. Fifth responsibility is to prepare benefits and salary packages. He has to ensure that people are paid as much as they deserve, develops pay system and structure. So according to these five responsibilities, I prepared five arguments why critical thinking is a vital skill for a human resource manager. Firstly, critical thinking is independent thinking. A person who thinks critically makes his own ideas and values. Their beliefs are being formed. Secondly, information is just a start point of critical thinking and not the last one. In order to develop complicated ideas, there is a need to have a lot of raw material, facts, ideas, theories, and data. But of but only knowing of them is not the most important thing. The most important thing is the ability to analyze, interpret, and apply them. Thirdly, critical thinking starts from the questions and problems that are need to be answered and solved. Interest in the world is the main man's feature. When people see something new, they ask, what is this? So while using thinking, people raise the questions and look for the answers. Also, when thinking critically, people develop their own for the problems, based on weighty arguments and convincing motives. They admit that there exists more than one solution to the problem, but they try to prove that why their selected option is the most logical and practical. Finally, critical thinking is social thinking. Ideas that people share are double-checked and improved. Critically thinking man works in the society together with other people and solves wider problems, not only self-creation tasks. It is very important to ask and investigate the question, what if? Critical thinking is a type of thinking when you do not seek a benefit for yourself. Critically thinking people are equally conscious about themselves and the others. He is adequate, fair, and impartial person who doesn't recognize double standards. In my opinion, that are basic values that a successful human resource manager should have. The role of HR manager is not easy these days. He has to make very important decisions that affect not only the company he works in, but people's lives that are working there or those who want to start work in that particular company. Following definition of critically thinking man, it should be an example to a good human resource manager, according to his responsibilities and job description. It is a man that can always apologize and say that he was wrong. He doesn't stick to one position and may change it if some unseen arguments appear in a case. This kind of person is not an upstart, or in other words, attention seeker. He thinks slowly, wastes his mind and makes decisions. He thinks, listens more than talks. People who are with him feel very comfortable, and they feel respected and heard out. So the human resource manager has to have a critical thinking skill. When it's clear that critical thinking is a vital competence for HR manager, the question might appear, what if he doesn't know how to improve the skill? In order to do it, person has to be equally fair in all situations, at home and at work, while working with different people. There is a need to observe himself and ask if he always holds the same principles and values without betraying them. Person has to reflect his own thoughts and actions, admit weaknesses and strengths, what he really understands about himself and situation. The ideas that conflict with held beliefs has to be taken into account very seriously. There is no need to afraid to ask about reasonableness of belief or to reject any other opinion. It is necessary to ask how often a person doubt about his own belief when he has proofs that those beliefs are baseless, and how often he express his opinion if that opinion doesn't match with the opinion of majority. Successful HR manager has to be sensitive and empathetic to different opinions. He doesn't try to judge, but and understand people, why they think or act like that. There is no need to hurry anywhere. Rush leads to superficial thinking, reckless and impulsive decisions. There has to be an argument, the base, for every decision or idea. Person has to question himself. What will what will be what will be the result of quickly done job? Will be qualitative? Critically thinking man has to observe the world with eyes wide open. It is better to admit that person doesn't know something than pretend that understand it, raising questions and searching for answers. That is what critical thinking does. So in my opinion, successful human resource manager has to develop the critical thinking and see it as a key competence needed in order to operate in such position. Critical thinking is a process that requires time and effort, can be serious or fun, easier or more difficult, but in general it's long and big process. Millions of people saw how the apple is falling down from the tree, but only Newton asked why. To think critically means to improve the thinking as a skill. Think about the thinking itself and ask yourself, why do I think like that? What my thinking is based on and where it leads to. Critical thinking helps us to become a free, independent people. It allows us to find, understand, and perceive opportunities and make the right decisions. Do not agree just because of inertia. Do not stop just because it's lazy. Develop and improve critical thinking in ourselves. Thank you.